Turn on the TV or scroll through social media these days, and you are guaranteed to see experts in expensive suits screaming about how we are living in a massive loneliness epidemic. They go on daytime talk shows and paint this tragic, melodramatic picture. They want us to believe modern humans are entirely disconnected and fundamentally broken. They push this narrative, where we're all supposedly hugging our knees, crying in the dark corner of our bedrooms on a Saturday night, because nobody invited us out. They make it sound like a global tragedy. But hold up. Let's step away from the panic mongering. Let's talk about your actual reality. Picture this: you're chilling on your couch, minding your own business, and your phone lights up. It's a text from a bestie asking to grab drinks, which usually means they need to vent for 3 hours or borrow money. Or worse, it's an incoming call from that nosy aunt who only ever reaches out to sniff around your finances. In the past, you might have panicked, but today, you coldly swipe that notification away like a stone-cold assassin. You leave them on read with zero mercy. You place your phone face down, grab a handful of snacks, and casually go back to watching some guys silently build a mud hut on YouTube. And here is the brutal, unfiltered truth: that none of those talking head TV shrinks have the guts to tell you straight to your face. You don't feel lonely at all. You don't feel broken, you don't feel pathetic, and you certainly don't feel like a victim. You feel amazing. You feel profoundly relieved. You have honestly never felt life to be this peaceful and easy to breathe in. So, that begs the question: since when did you morph into the type of friend who loves to ghost people, cut off ties, and walk away without a backward glance? Since when did you turn into someone society labels as antisocial, weird, or emotionally unavailable? Let's flip through your personal rap sheet. You weren't born this cold and heartless. You didn't just exit the womb ready to block people on Instagram. I know exactly who you used to be. You were literally a certified public emotional dumpster for the entire world. You used to be the most reliable, dependable person on the planet. Any friend going through a messy breakup at 2 a.m. would call you bawling their eyes out. What did you do? You'd shoot out of bed and play the unpaid therapist. You would weigh the pros and cons, talk until your throat was raw, and psychoanalyze their toxic partner until 4 inches the morning. You gave the absolute best, most logical advice. And what happened the next day? You woke up, opened your phone, and saw they posted a story holding hands with that exact same toxic ex. They completely ignored everything you said, leaving you exhausted with massive raccoon eyes from lack of sleep. And it wasn't just friends. You were the designated peacekeeper every time family drama went down. At work, you were the pushover employee your boss always dumped extra assignments on at 4:59 p.m. on a Friday, strictly because they knew you were too scared of conflict to ever say no. You were like a free, high-speed power bank, and anyone walking by could plug their dirty little cable in and drain your battery to zero. You gave out 100% of your effort, got absolutely nothing back in return, and maybe even get passive-aggressive comments if you were too busy one single day to listen to their endless complaining. You lived like that for years. Until one day, something snapped. You just stopped picking up the phone. You stopped nodding along to their nonsense. You didn't reply to the texts. You just stopped caring. And guess what happened when you finally set a boundary? The earth didn't explode. The sky didn't fall down and crush you. Everything simply went quiet. A beautiful, deafening quiet. Now, those stuffy, overpriced academic psychology textbooks like to call that exact moment of disconnection with some super pretentious terms. They call it the parasympathetic response, or dorsal vagal shutdown. It sounds boring as hell, and makes you sound like a clinical patient. But if we throw away the textbook and apply what I call bar logic, putting it in plain English, it works exactly like this. Your nervous system is basically the electrical grid of a house, and your emotional capacity is the main circuit breaker in the basement. When the people in your life plug way too many high-voltage, energy-sucking appliances into your grid, the constant criticism, the blatant manipulation, the one-sided trauma dumping, your system gets dangerously overloaded. The wires get hot. And to stop the entire house from catching fire, what does your brain do? It doesn't send a polite memo asking for permission. It automatically goes see, power cut. It hangs up a massive closed for business sign on the front door and kicks everybody out of the club. That sudden disconnect. That's not you being broken. That's not a symptom of severe depression that requires you to be medicated into a zombie. That's your physical body sounding the alarm to exercise its fundamental right to self-defense. Your brain is desperately protecting your last remaining drops of sanity, because it finally realized a brutal truth. Your energy and attention are finite resources. They aren't a free buffet for any random emotional vampire to grab from. Your ruthlessness right now isn't a personality flaw. It is a brilliant, highly evolved survival mechanism. But let's take a step back and look at the root cause. That incredible door-slamming skill of yours, that hypersensitive radar. Where exactly did you train for that? Chances are, that specific software was programmed into your brain back when you were still running around in diapers. You see, a lot of us didn't get to grow up just carelessly asking for toys. We grew up acting as a highly calibrated human weather station in our own homes. From a tiny age, you had to learn how to aggressively read the room to survive. You sat there listening to your parents' footsteps coming up the stairs. You paid attention to how hard the front door closed. You listened to the specific pitch of the sighs at the dinner table, all just to gauge whether you were getting a nice hot meal tonight, or if you were going to be dodging emotional bullets. You learned a harsh lesson early on. Closeness and intimacy sometimes come with a very steep price tag. Love and unpredictability were packaged together. So, you adapted. You put on the uniform of the most mature, understanding kid on earth. But in reality, that facade wasn't genuine maturity. It was a bomb shelter. You learned that the absolute safest place to be, with the lowest possible risk of getting caught in the crossfire of other people's chaos, is always hiding out quietly by yourself. And that childhood survival blueprint, it never left you. Now that you're a grown adult, you subconsciously whip it out anytime you smell drama approaching your perimeter. Your brain has accumulated tens of thousands of hours of social data to turn you into an elite, military-grade BS detector. Whoever comes around just to use you for a favor, whoever tries to gaslight you, whoever is just stringing you along, you can smell the stench of their intentions from 10 miles away. People might call you cynical, but you aren't paranoid. You're just processing social data and micro-expressions on a level that normal, sheltered people are still dreaming about. Now, I need to put a disclaimer here. I'm not encouraging you to throw your phone in a river and move to the remote mountains to live like a hermit. Scientific articles love to scare the public with terrifying statistics like prolonged social isolation leads to heart disease and increases your stroke risk by 32%. Sure, the doctors aren't bluffing. Locking yourself in a pitch-black room with zero human contact will kill you eventually. But let me tell you something they leave out of those medical journals. Forcing yourself to stick around toxic losers, narcissists, and users who treat you like a welcome mat will spike your cortisol, ruin your mental health, and give you a stress-induced stroke 10 times faster than being alone ever could. So what's the actual boundary here? How do you protect your peace without turning into a total antisocial recluse? Look at this simple fact. Building a massive, solid brick wall to lock yourself inside, because you are terrified of the world, is completely different from putting up a nice picket fence and hiring a 2-150-pound bouncer to guard your front gate. A brick wall blocks absolutely everything. It keeps the bad guys out, sure, but it also blocks out the sunlight, the good opportunities, and the genuinely decent people who want to love you. That wall is built purely on fear. But the bouncer, he operates entirely differently. He has a veep. He is highly selective. He brutally kicks out the obnoxious troublemakers who just want to wreck the place, but he politely unhooks the velvet rope and opens the door for the good ones. Boundaries are not built on fear. They are built on a foundation of deep self-respect. If you block someone's number, cut off a long-term relationship, and immediately feel like a massive 100-pound weight just lifted off your chest, that is not isolation. That is protection. That is you taking the toxic garbage out of your life. Society might look at you and call you antisocial, but in reality, you are living in a state of what I call luxury solitude. Loneliness is when you are sitting on your bed, desperately craving for someone to text you so you feel seen. Luxury solitude is when your phone is dead silent with zero notifications, and you're sipping your coffee, enjoying that peace and quiet like absolute royalty. You aren't running away from the world. You're running away from the BS and the chaos, straight toward your own sanctuary. Harvard University spent 75 years and tens of millions of dollars tracking people's entire lives, just to conclude something our grandparents have been saying since the dawn of time. True, lasting happiness isn't about how many people you have in your life. It's strictly about having the right people. So, your actionable advice for the next 20-4 hours isn't to force yourself to dress up and go fake smile with phony crowds just to feel normal. Forget all of that. Your one micro step for today is this. Pick up your phone and open your contacts list. Don't look for someone to block. You're already a professional at that. This time, I want you to find exactly one person, just one single person in your life, who you do not have to put on a fake act around. Someone whose presence doesn't drain your battery. Send them a simple text just to check in. You don't need a massive, flashy network of 100 superficial friends to brag about. You just need a tiny, tightly woven safety net made from bulletproof Kevlar, so when life inevitably knocks you down, the net actually catches you instead of breaking. If your friend circle is tiny, maybe just 2 or 3 people, but the inside of that circle is filled with people who genuinely see you, respect your boundaries, and understand your silence, then you are doing absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, you are winning big in this chaotic game of life. If this video is the exact permission slip you've been secretly waiting for, so you can finally stop feeling guilty about your desire for isolation, then congratulations. Tonight, just enjoy your peace and quiet. Your peace of mind is incredibly expensive, so stop handing it out for free like a public charity. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, get off the internet, and go get a damn good night's sleep. You've earned it.